I've gotten to a point where I genuinely feel like I have enough, that I am enough, I'm doing enough, and all of that pressure that I used to put on myself has dissipated. All of that internal stress and the internal critic. I know some remnants are still there, but a big part of it has healed and a big part of it is gone and it's not part of my current reality. And that is a feat in itself. That is the mountain that I climbed, the mountain of my self-worth issues and learning to love myself, be confident in myself, love my life, create a life that I love, create a life that feels abundant, that feels free, that's giving me everything that I desired in life. And it feels amazing. It feels peaceful. If you've been watching my videos for the past couple years, you know I've been working through healing from burnout, healing from tying my self-worth with external success, external validation. As a content creator, someone with a business, it's easy to let your emotions go up and down with the numbers, but I've come to a place where I've found peace. Right? Or at the very, no one's perfect, but I am closer to peace than I ever have been before. I'm okay with looking like a failure on the outside. I'm okay with making mistakes. I'm okay with my flaws. I'm okay with not being perfect, not being an achiever. I'm okay with simply existing. And now I'm aiming to live genuinely from following my joy, like genuinely just following my heart, following my intuition, and wherever it may lead me. And so I'm calling this stage of my life the gentle pursuit of inner joy and fulfillment. It's just following myself, my heart. It's following the internal version of you, not needing to prove yourself, not needing to do what others say, others' opinions of you, or what society tells you should do, not try to be what anyone else is telling you to be, but just simply exist and enjoy existing as yourself. You're not gonna stay stagnant, it's not like you're gonna do nothing. Naturally, you're gonna get excited about certain things. You're gonna get curious about certain things. I feel like all you have to do at this point is just follow the clues. Follow the clues of where your intuition and where your energy is guiding you, and that's it. Like, let go of the rest. Surrender, trust that it's taking you where you're meant to go. And enjoy the process, enjoy the journey of this exploration and this step-by-step listening to myself, connecting with myself, and then following it. That's it. It's a gentle pursuit of inner joy and fulfillment. So the questions that I ask myself are, well, what do I feel like doing? What brings me joy? What makes me feel good? What makes my body feel good? What makes my mind and my heart and my soul feel good? And that is what I aim to follow. I'm not perfect, and life is gonna happen and I'm gonna veer front, back, left, right, but I think I get it a little bit more now. I think I've come to a place where I can follow my inner joy and inner fulfillment. And when something is not making my heart happy anymore, even if it's something that might have made my heart happy in the past, I have to trust that feeling and let it go. Just trust that I'm changing, and what brings me joy, what brings me fulfillment changes over time, and that's okay. And instead of comparing myself to my past self and being like, oh, well, why am I not like this anymore? I used to be more motivated. I used to be more productive in this area. Just letting all of that go instead of literally comparing myself to the past self. A lot of people say oh, make sure you're better than your past self. Yes, in some ways, but sometimes you change and sometimes the current self is just different from your past self. And you don't have to be better in a traditional sense, as in more money or more this, more productive. You don't have to be better. You just follow the change and accept that you are different than who you were before. And then all that matters is that you are happy with the change. You are feeling accepting, embracing, and you love yourself as you are now in the present moment. Because life is not about just leveling up in the external sense. It's about just learning to come back within And in a way, it's leveling up in the internal sense. And I do believe that the external will level up with your internal like state, but it doesn't have to mean what you thought it meant. Like say you're in a business, it doesn't mean that it always just goes up and you make more and more money until you die. Like it could mean that, but it doesn't have to mean that, right? It could mean that maybe in your 50s you have a shift in your heart, and what used to fulfill you doesn't fulfill you anymore, and maybe you turn to like charity or gardening, or you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same thing leveling up. You will evolve, you will change. All that matters is that you're staying true to what your internal self is telling you and what makes you happy, what's bringing you that inner joy and fulfillment. It could be different. As long as you love it, great. It doesn't have to look good to other people, right? Maybe on the outside, people will call you a failure, or maybe outside people are like, oh, that's weird. Like she went in a weird direction. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. All that matters is that you love it. Like you embrace the present version of you, the ever evolving, ever transforming, changing version of you. And that is beautiful. If you don't know about my background, this comes from a childhood of being taught that I need to prove myself, that I need to succeed, that I need to achieve, and I need to be all these things in order to make my parents happy, or in order to fit into a mold in society, or to fit in with my peers or my family. It took so many years to understand and unravel. Like, why was I so ambitious? Why was I trying to achieve all these big things? On one hand, some of it does come from positive inspiration. On the other hand, I had built this career, I built this business, and I reached this level where I felt like I had everything that I wanted. I made enough money, I had a career that I loved. I was like, why am I still stressing out? Why am I like putting so much pressure on myself when I'm my own boss? Why am I suffering unnecessarily? And I think a lot of people have that habit to put that pressure on themselves and suffer unnecessarily when you really don't have to. You really can just breathe out, relax, chill out, let it go. You can enjoy life a little more, or at least learn to have a more balanced approach to life. So that was my journey from 2019 to now, was to learn to build a more balanced approach to life and have a more balanced, peaceful mindset. Because before, I was in the mindset of, I need to prove that I could be successful. I need to prove that I could make it, because I took this path. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be creative. And then my parents didn't understand. They just didn't get it. And I felt like the need to prove myself, prove that I could do it, make it a career, and prove them wrong, essentially, prove my family wrong. That's only the tip of the iceberg, because a lot of it goes even deeper into how I was raised and just the conditional love that I was given. But all that is to say that I've done so much healing since like 2019-ish to now. And now I've really learned to let go of tying my self-worth with all of those external factors, let go of needing to be anything that I'm not. I've really learned to just embrace myself and listen to myself and give myself what I need. Be okay with resting. Be okay with doing nothing. Be okay with not being productive all the time. Being okay with not putting that pressure on myself. Being okay with not being successful or being achieving, and just all of those things that people praise externally. So that has allowed me more time and space. And when you're exploring this, you really go to like the extremes. Like there are times where I really felt so like lazy. I didn't do anything. I just felt unmotivated. And then I would I was struggling to find like a balanced pace because if I'm not motivated by all of those like internal pressures that I put on myself, if I'm not motivated by like the trauma essentially, like I just lost the motivation. Like it was hard for me to motivate myself through the positive aspects because for so long I was motivated by that like void, right? Like that void, oh, I need to keep creating or else I'm gonna like, my career is gonna fall apart. I felt what it feels like for just letting go, stepping back and letting things fall apart a little bit. I know that sounds terrifying to some people, but I felt like I experienced, like when you don't put your energy and your focus into something, obviously it's not gonna grow. So I had to give myself that space to allow it to just, not be growing at all costs, not be growing continuously. And now I'm still finding that balance and that sweet spot of being led by my natural energy, creating when I'm inspired to, sharing only when I'm inspired to, instead of forcing myself to like be consistent on a schedule. My strategy before worked because you do have to have a level of discipline and consistency to get somewhere, but you can also overdo that. One end of the spectrum is like a machine, like a well-oiled machine where you're just like creating, sharing, coming out with products or whatever, selling. That's business, right? And then on the other end is like natural flow of nature, but it's very inconsistent. Something in my heart tells me that I need to flow with nature and I need to flow with the change and be very flexible with how much I work, how much I don't work, and being okay with everything. Like this past couple months, I've been putting a lot of effort into the house, and a lot of my time and energy is like organizing, doing personal life and house stuff, spending time with friends, spending time with family. I feel like my personal life is feeling very enriched. And when that happens, I'm not putting energy on the public side of my career and my front-facing side. And yeah, I'm just trying to see if you can still do amazing, positive things while living at a balanced pace. Like my goal in life is to make a positive impact in whatever way I can with my talents, right? But to do it at a very soft, balanced pace. Like I don't want to be the hustler. I don't want to go into office every day. I don't want to be busy. I don't want to be like going from meetings here and there. Like a little bit is okay, but generally I love a slow, gentle life. I choose to believe that you can still do big things living a slow and gentle life. And so that's the experiment. Check in with me in 10 years and see if anything happens, because I'm done with the hustle, working hard life. I mean, I'm also in my 30s, right? I think when you're young, you have more energy to like create, and there is probably a time in life where you do have to work really hard and really push yourself, but I don't believe that that's supposed to last forever. It doesn't make sense for it to last your entire life. You're pushing, and then you die. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, life is like nature. You have seasons. You have your winters where you have to hibernate and give to yourself. You have the spring where you can bloom. You have like summers where you're like out every day and just living outside, living a big life, whatever that means to you. And then you retreat, and everything in nature has its time. And every person's life is different. So don't compare yourself to anyone else out there. Like if you think of different plants or different flowers, some flowers bloom all year. Some flowers bloom only for one night, right? Some flowers are only in bloom in spring. So you might just be a different type of flower than someone you're comparing yourself to on Instagram. Or you might be in a different season. One person's in their summer, you're in your winter, great. So it's not about comparing yourself to others. It's not about pushing yourself forever. Like there are times for that, and there are also times for other things. Life is about balance. I'm a Libra. I'm very Libra. So that's very Libra of me to say life is about balance. And in this stage of my life personally, I've come to a place where I want to live a slower, gentler, more peaceful, and balanced life. It doesn't mean I want to retreat from the world completely. I still get inspired. I still have things I want to create and things that I'd like to share sometimes. But I'll be honest, previously I operated kind of like a content machine, and as a content creator, you're kind of pressured to do that. Like, let me post every week or twice a week. Some TikTokers, they post every day, 3 times a day. It's like, it's so much. And of course, creators get burnt out because art is not meant to be created like a machine. And so as an artist, as a creative, you have to understand and trust in the fluidity of nature. Sometimes you're going to be inspired, sometimes you're going to produce a lot of work, and sometimes you're not. And that's okay. You have to be okay with riding those waves, riding those ups and downs. And it was scary for me to ride the downs because I wanted to stay up. I wanted to be like, let me just keep going, 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 and let me try to push, 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 and try to make this grow, 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 but not at the expense of your own well-being. And it also loses the soul and the inspiration when you get to that point. For a while, I was uninspired. I didn't know what content to make because I was just like creating it like a formula, like a machine. Like, well, I have this list of ideas. Let me just make whatever's on the list, whatever people want to see, even if I'm not necessarily like always super inspired to talk about it. So one thing I learned about creativity, which I've shared before, is like when you have inspiration, create it. Like do it right then and there. Because if you wait a week, if you wait 2 weeks and you try to make that video after you wrote down the idea 2 weeks ago, you're not gonna have the same amount of inspiration. Like I journaled about this topic yesterday. Yeah, I think I journaled yesterday or 2 days ago, and immediately I started filming because I was like, I need to get this out. I need to just make it, put it out there, and don't overthink it. I used to just write it on my Notion to-do list, come back to a couple weeks later, and I'm like, I don't feel like talking about that anymore. My life changed in the past 2 weeks. So anyway, I'm trying to live with the flow now, following my inner joy, inner fulfillment, and that way I can't promise consistency. I don't know where I'll be. I don't know what I'll feel like doing. I don't know when I'll have this inspiration, but at least for me, my practice, like I know the certain things that will get me into the mode to create. Like, okay, if I meditate and I journal, then I'll be a little bit more inspired to have something to share. That's what works for me. But also being okay with not being productive all the time, not creating all the time, giving energy to other areas of life that need it. So I hope you liked this video. It really felt natural and it flowed out of me. And also it's my first time filming, actually, yeah, technically my first Lavendaire video in the new house. So if you haven't seen the house series, I'll link it here down below. I'm super excited for this new chapter in my life, living aligned, total alignment, and just balanced, slow, gentle, operating like nature. Okay, love you guys. Bye.